They were not just queens, they were warriors, strategists, and makers of empires. Discover the fierce women who ruled Africa and changed history. Africa is a land of many stories. It is a land of kings and warriors, of empires and great kingdoms. But do you know that Africa also had many powerful queens? These queens were not just beautiful, they were brave, smart, strong, and wise. They ruled with power. They led armies. They fought against enemies. They protected their people. And their names are still remembered today, even after hundreds of years. Today, we will tell you the story of some of the greatest African queens who changed the world. So, sit back and listen to the true stories of these mighty women. A long time ago, in what is now Nigeria, there was a kingdom called Zazzau. It was part of the House of Kingdoms. In this kingdom, a baby girl was born into royalty. Her name was Amina. From when she was very young, Amina loved to learn about war. She trained with soldiers. She learned how to fight. She rode horses. She studied how to lead people. When her brother, the king, died, Amina became queen. Many people thought, a woman? Can she lead us in war? But Amina showed them that she was more than ready. Queen Amina led her people into battle. She won many wars. She made her kingdom bigger and richer. She built walls around cities to protect them. Some of these walls still exist today. She ruled for over 30 years. And even though she lived in the 1500s, people still say her name with respect. She proved that a woman could be a strong and fearless warrior. Now, let's travel south to a place we now call Angola. In the 1600s, there lived a powerful queen named Nzinga. She was the queen of two kingdoms, Ndongo and Matamba. At that time, the Portuguese were taking African people and selling them as slaves. They wanted to take Nzinga's land too. But she was not going to let that happen. Nzinga was clever. She could speak many languages. She made deals and alliances. She also led her army herself. There's a famous story about how she met with the Portuguese. They didn't give her a chair to sit on. They wanted to show that she was less important. But Nzinga told one of her soldiers to kneel, and she sat on his back like a queen on a throne. That day, she sent a strong message, I am not less than you. She kept fighting for over 30 years. She helped her people escape slavery. She built a strong kingdom and was known for her intelligence and bravery. Queen Nzinga is still remembered today as a symbol of resistance and power. Now, we go even further back in time, over 3,000 years ago. Makeda, also known as the Queen of Sheba, ruled a powerful kingdom in East Africa, in what is today Ethiopia and parts of Yemen. She was known for her beauty and wisdom. Her story is found in the Bible, the Quran, and in Ethiopian history. Makeda heard about a very wise king in a faraway land, King Solomon of Israel. She traveled a long way to meet him. She asked him many hard questions, and he was impressed with her knowledge. According to Ethiopian legend, Makeda and Solomon had a son named Menelik I. He later became the first emperor of Ethiopia. Makeda is remembered for her courage, her long journey, and her strong rule. In Ethiopia, she is seen as the mother of the royal line that ruled for centuries. Now let's go to North Africa, to the land of the pyramids, Egypt. Queen Nefertiti lived over 3,000 years ago. She was one of the most beautiful and powerful queens in Egyptian history. She ruled beside her husband, Pharaoh Akhenaten. Together, they changed the religion of Egypt. They told the people to worship just one god, the sun god Aten. This was a big change in Egyptian culture. Nefertiti was not just a queen by name, she ruled with power. In some pictures, she is shown wearing a pharaoh's crown. Some historians even believe that she ruled Egypt alone for a short time after her husband died. Her name means, the beautiful one has come. And her face is still famous today because of a sculpture found in her tomb. Nefertiti showed that beauty and power can walk together. Still in Egypt, we have another queen you've probably heard of, Cleopatra. Cleopatra was the last pharaoh of Egypt. She ruled during a time when the Roman Empire was growing strong. She spoke many languages. She was smart and charming. She used her intelligence to protect her kingdom. Cleopatra made alliances with powerful Roman leaders, Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony. But even with these alliances, her kingdom was taken by Rome after her death. Still, Cleopatra is remembered as one of the most famous queens in history. She was a leader, a lover, and a fighter. She showed the world that African women could rule great empires. Let's move now to West Africa, to the Ashanti Kingdom in what is today Ghana. In the late 1800s, the British wanted to take the Ashanti people's sacred golden stool. This stool was not just a symbol, it was the soul of the Ashanti nation. Yaa Asantewaa was the queen mother. When the king and other chiefs were afraid to fight, she stood up. She said, "If you men will not fight, then we the women will." She led the Ashanti army in what became known as the War of the Golden Stool. She fought with great bravery, even though the British had more weapons. She was eventually captured and sent into exile. But her courage made her a hero. Today, Ghanaians still honor her as a symbol of strength and leadership. In what is now Sudan, a long time ago, there was a kingdom called Kush. This kingdom had queens who were called Candakes, or Candaces. These queens ruled over Nubia, which was one of the richest and most powerful places in ancient Africa. One of the most famous Candakes was Queen Amanirenas. She ruled during the 1st century BC. During her time, the Romans were expanding their empire. They had already taken over Egypt, and now they wanted to take Kush too. But Queen Amanirenas was not afraid. When the Romans tried to invade her land, she gathered her soldiers and went to war. She is said to have lost one eye in battle, but she kept fighting. Because of her bravery, she became known as the One-Eyed Queen. She even led an attack into Roman-controlled Egypt and destroyed many Roman statues. She sent a message: Kush was not afraid of Rome. After years of fighting, she made peace with the Romans on her own terms. Her kingdom stayed free. That is how strong and wise she was. Queen Amanirenas is remembered as one of the greatest warrior queens in African history. Let's now move to Central Africa, to a place that is now part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. There, a long time ago, was a kingdom called the Congo Kingdom. In this kingdom lived a young noblewoman named Kimpa Vita. She wasn't a queen by birth, but she became a powerful spiritual leader and is remembered like royalty. Kimpa Vita lived in the 1600s. At that time, the people of Congo were going through hard times, wars, sickness, and confusion. The kingdom was divided, and many people had started following the Christian religion brought by the Portuguese. But Kimpa Vita had a vision. She believed that Africans could be Christians without copying the Europeans. She began preaching that Jesus and Mary were black and from the Congo. She told her people to return to their roots and rebuild the kingdom. Many people followed her. They believed in her message of unity and power. She led a peaceful movement to bring her people together. But the Portuguese and their local allies saw her as a threat. They arrested her and, sadly, burned her alive. Even though she died young, her voice stayed alive. Today, she is seen as one of the first African women to fight for freedom and identity. Now let's visit East Africa again, to Ethiopia. Before Queen Makeda, or the Queen of Sheba, there was another queen who ruled later in Ethiopian history. Her name was Empress Betul. Taytu was not only beautiful and intelligent, she was strong and had a sharp political mind. In the late 1800s, when European countries were trying to take over African lands, Italy wanted to control Ethiopia. They even tricked the emperor at that time, Menelik II, by changing a treaty. But Taytu, who was the emperor's wife, read the Italian version of the treaty and saw the lies. She warned her husband. She stood by him and helped him prepare for war. During the famous Battle of Adwa in 1896, Taytu led 5,000 soldiers into battle. She and her husband won. Ethiopia remained free while many other African countries were taken by Europeans. She also helped found the capital city of Addis Ababa. Taytu was not just a queen, she was a hero, a warrior, and a builder of her nation. Let's go west now, to the land that is today called Senegal. There, in the 1800s, lived a queen named Ndaté. She was the last great queen of the Wallo Kingdom. Queen Ndaté was known for her courage and her strong will. She ruled at a time when the French were trying to take over more parts of Senegal. They tried to pressure her into surrendering her land. But she refused. She stood up to them with these words: "We are free people. We bow to no one." She led her warriors into battle. Even though her army was not as strong as the French army, she never gave up easily. Her resistance delayed the full colonization of Senegal for many years. Ndaté is remembered in Senegal today as a proud daughter of Africa who never allowed herself or her people to be ruled by foreigners. Now let's hear the story of a queen from the land that is today Sierra Leone. Her name was Madame Yoko. She was born in the 1800s and became a great chief of the Men people. Madame Yoko used her intelligence and leadership to unite many small chiefdoms. She built a large area of power for herself and brought peace to her region. Unlike many queens who fought with swords, Madame Yoko used diplomacy, meaning she used words, ideas, and relationships to grow her power. She built strong connections with the British at the time and became one of the most respected leaders in Sierra Leone. She also played a big role in the famous women's secret society called Sandy, which trained young girls to become strong, wise women. Madame Yoko's rule brought peace, stability, and progress to her people. Let's now talk about Ranavalona, the Queen of Madagascar. She ruled from 1828 to 1861. She was one of the most controversial and powerful queens in African history. Ranavalona came to power after the death of her husband, the king. When she became queen, she wanted to protect the traditions and culture of Madagascar. She banned European influence and Christianity. She wanted to keep her island free from colonization. Many people say her rule was very strict. She punished those who went against her. But she also kept her land independent at a time when many other places in Africa were falling under European control. Ranavalona ruled for over 30 years. She is remembered today as a fierce and fearless queen who refused to let foreign powers take over her country. Queen Poku was a legendary 18th-century leader of the Akan people and a niece of the Ashanti king. During a time of political conflict over royal succession, she chose to lead a group westward in search of peace. Their journey was long and dangerous, and when they reached an impassable river, the story goes that she sacrificed her only son to the river spirit so her people could cross. The waters parted, allowing them to pass safely. Her people named themselves the Baul, after the words Ba-ou-li, meaning the child is dead. Queen Poku is remembered not only for this sacrifice, but also for her courage, wisdom, and selflessness. She laid the foundation for one of the largest ethnic groups in Côte d'Ivoire, and her story remains a powerful symbol of leadership, motherhood, and sacrifice throughout West Africa. Queen Moremi Ajasoro was a courageous Yoruba queen from Ile-Ife, known for her legendary bravery in saving her people from frequent raids by a mysterious enemy, often referred to as the Igbo, not related to the Igbo ethnic group. To uncover their secrets, she offered herself as a spy, marrying into the enemy kingdom. She later escaped with vital intelligence that helped Ile-Ife defeat them. Her bravery came at a great cost. She had to sacrifice her only son to fulfill a vow made to the river goddess. Today, Moremi is celebrated as a heroine of sacrifice, intelligence, and patriotism, and her legacy lives on in festivals, monuments, and the hearts of the Yoruba people. Queen Tiye was one of the most influential queens of ancient Egypt, the great royal wife of Pharaoh Amenhotep III and mother of Akhenaten. Born around 1398 BCE, she was not of royal blood but rose to power through intelligence and strength of character. Tiye was deeply involved in political and religious affairs, often advising the king and even corresponding with foreign rulers. She was respected at home and abroad, and her powerful presence marked a shift in the role of queens in Egypt. Tiye's legacy paved the way for future powerful women like Nefertiti and Cleopatra. Africa's queens were more than just royal figures. They were fighters. They were dreamers. They were more than queens. They were warriors, thinkers, builders, and mothers. They protected their people. They led with heart and wisdom. And they left stories that still inspire us today. Some used the sword. Others used their words. But all of them led with strength, vision, and love for their people. These queens, Amina, Nzinga, Makeda, Nefertiti, Cleopatra, Yaa Asantewaa, Amanirenas, Kimpa Vita, Empress Taytu, Ndaté Yalla, Madame Yoko, and Queen Ranavalona, Poku, Moremi and Tiye, all walked different paths, but their hearts beat for Africa. Let us honor them. Let us remember their names. Let us tell their stories, again and again, so the world never forgets the queens who stood tall on African soil. Thank you for listening to this story of Africa's greatest queens. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from African history. Until next time, stay proud, and stay inspired.